Greetings, friends. I'm going to discuss this meme which I saw posted on someone's Facebook profile recently. This meme or image has a circle of hands, palms open, palm up, all spread out together. Children, old hands, different hands, the different peoples of the world coming together, uniting their hands open, and in their palms we see symbols for at least seven of the world's religions. I don't know all of them, but we have Islam and Christianity, and then Hinduism. Wicca is the pentagram, I suppose, or something, or even Satanism. I don't know if that's what they're going for there, but probably Wicca. I don't know what the one in the bottom right is. And then we have Judaism. And then the yin yang, I guess that's Taoism or maybe Buddhism, or it's the Far East philosophy, religion, whatever. And then we have the text in the middle explaining what it's all about. And what would you know? Buddha is not a Buddhist. Jesus was not a Christian. Muhammad was not a Muslim. Because it's not called Mohammedism, but they were teachers who taught love. Love was their religion. Oh, ain't that so cute, and what a comfy feeling. And lies are always comfy. The truth is stark and often bitter to taste. But you must drink of the truth, my friends. And I'm just analyzing an innocent person's profile, so I'm not taking a dig at anyone specifically, but I'm interested in these sorts of things. And you can find out a lot on Facebook about people you don't know, because Facebook provides all this information, and underneath I can see, I'm not going to, show you, but I can testify that underneath 16 people liked this, well, specifically 9 people liked this, or no, actually 11 people liked it, but 9 of those were women and 2 of them were men, based on the names that I can see and make a reasonable judgment. And then an additional 4 women loved it, and 1 additional man reacted with a wow emoticon. And underneath there were 2 comments, one from a lady who said simply, life, period. And that could mean, well, maybe she's trying to say, well, that's just life, man. We're all just doing the same thing here. And then there was another comment underneath by a man, and he simply said, no. And I'm going to have to agree with the guy who just said, no. But I'll explain a little bit, because, well, as you can see, this is childish. It's a childish idea. It's safe to say that these are all adults, and most of them, or many of them, are probably a fair bit older than I am. So this is not teenagers. This is full-grown adults liking this meme because it makes them feel good, and it's mostly women, of course. There are some men. And obviously it's simplistic and it's false, but the effective lies use some truth. So there is love as part of these religions, or at least some of them. I'm not an expert on religions, but yes, there's an element of love in Christianity, and in Buddhism there's compassion, and I don't know about in Islam. I mean, sure, there's love everywhere, but then there's other elements too. And not all religions teach the same thing. And truth is not a whore. So because there can only be one truth, or it's not truth. So truth is not a whore. And neither is love a whore, because a love which favors all religions is not worthy of the name love. Some people have this knee-jerk reaction that if you start to say there's such a thing as truth, that we can't be relativistic, that there's good and evil, or you have to make an important choice of one system over another, and there will be consequences for that. If you're thinking in those directions and talking like that, then you want to bring some sort of authoritarian, religious society, some sort of theocracy on us. And that's also an unfair reaction. But the point is that like religion, like it embraces everything in our life, and so you can never get away from it. You can never fully escape religion, even if you think you have. Like, okay, Buddha is not a Buddhist. I mean, yeah, there's some compassion there, but in Buddhism, from what I know, I don't know that much, but I know there's also the meditation, the silence, and I mean, retreating within oneself. I mean, is that love? I mean, you can look at that through love, but it just becomes a very shaky, loose concept, very vague. Love, when you're using love like this, and Jesus, obviously preached loving people, and I mean, come on, Jesus being all about love. That's the myth that he was the hippie Jesus, but then it ignores that Jesus also had a role in fulfilling the law of the Old Testament, which you might see as very stark and harsh. And I mean, of course, he tossed the money changers out of the temple. He drove them out. He flipped their tables. That is not necessarily this kind of love. Maybe it's tough love. Maybe it's a more mature kind of love. You have to sometimes chastise your children if they misbehave because you love them. So yeah, but best not to go down this road and using word love in the first place. It's more complicated than that. Love was their religion, and this is the idea that there's no, we need to get away from religion. Like David Icke teaches that religion is bad. So, but then you just become Gnostic or something else. You become like Wiccan, and there's ritual in Wicca, and so you're still falling into some sort of belief system with certain behaviors, however loosely defined. But regardless, if you believe in truth, then there can only be one truth. You can't be relativistic. Just in conclusion, I might add that I did the video over a year ago about degenerate and subversive music. I was talking about 90s bands like Rammstein, Nine Inch Nails, and Marilyn Manson. And some people were commenting recently, like trying to argue for the opposite case, that this music was good. And look, I've already discussed this, and maybe you disagree with me, that's fine. But what I would like to conclude with is, do you accept that there must be we must be able to make judgments about the quality of art, or in this case, like the quality of religions, or, very deep, open-ended judgments where you can't pinpoint it down with a microscope in a rational way and totally explain what you mean, but a quality judgment nonetheless, like good or bad, evil or degenerate or subversive to what? I mean, you have to basically stand up for yourself and your own culture and your belief system at some point, or you don't respect yourself and you don't respect the truth. So you should act as if you know that's true, and therefore you have to choose, and you have to stand up for why you chose what you chose. But yeah, so regardless if you think that, and I was only talking about certain examples of Nine Inch Nails music and Rammstein. I was only talking about certain examples of that, but I think you can see many of us, not everyone, but you can make some judgment call about things. Maybe you disagree about those specific judgment calls, but then I'd like to pose the question, where do you find subversive music? Where do you find degenerate music? Or do you think it doesn't exist? Because one person was saying, well, it's there to teach us. Like these lyrics about, killing yourself or doing all these crazy things, all these like blasphemous things, it's there to teach young people. They're not getting that discussion with their parents, and so it's there to teach you. It's like, okay, but I mean, it's not like you can't discuss these issues in music that doesn't have to be so subversive. Like, and I mean lyrics. I mean the way the music is itself. But anyways, I'm getting off topic here on another topic. I was kind of just trying to stick to this one thing. So anyways, hasta luego, amigos.